What is up, Lion Nation? It's your boy, Uncle Carlos. Welcome back to the Detroit Lions Kool-Aid Corner. And today I'm starting my draft series, right? Detroit Lions own the number 3 pick in the NFL draft. So there's 4 basic options, right? Everyone's heard the scenario. There's Chase Young, who really is, as far as fit goes, the best fit in the entire draft for the Detroit Lions, for what they really need. And we take last year and we say, oh, all those close games, you know, Mahomes, 4th and 8, you got to get off the field, you win that football game if you had a pass rush. So Chase Young, as far as fit goes, perfect fit. Then there's Jeff Okudah. We got rid of a Pro Bowl caliber, and in my opinion, elite cornerback in Darius Slay. So we need to replace him with Jeff Okudah. That's been brought up a whole bunch. But today I'd like to start with the guy that we should seriously consider, and in fact, in my opinion, has more value than those two put together. Now, Chase Daniels is very close, but the quarterback position, when you're talking about value in a draft, is the most important position. Patrick Mahomes is going to make $200 million. He's going to be somewhere between $36 and $40 million a year. If you get a quarterback on a rookie deal under the new CBA program, you're only spending about 22 to 26 million in hard asset dollars. You control him for 5 years. So you have him under 4, and then you have the option year. And you only get that in the first round. That's the beauty of the first round. Then after that, you have a franchise tag. So, and in terms of cost, that's why we keep bringing up this idea of value. In terms of cost, there is no cheaper way to buy elite talent at the quarterback position than doing it through the NFL draft. The days of finding a guy in the 3rd or the 4th round, those are outliers. Those are not actual investments. Those are buying lottery tickets. When you're doing quarterback shopping, it's buying stock. If you like the company and you can see that there's going to be value in the future, and you can buy in for only $25 million, $26 million total contract for the first 5 years, that's when you do it. That's why running backs, everybody always says you only should go on one contract with a running back, right? But I digress. I'm over here taking off into the left field about running backs and whatnot. No, today's video is going to be about Tua Tagovailoa. The pros, the cons, and the first part that we're gonna get right out of the way right away is we're gonna go over the injury. We're gonna go ahead and look at some film, see what happened, you know, during the injury. I'm gonna give you some of my comments, some of my thoughts, and then we're gonna go into the positive. We're gonna go ahead and look at the good stuff. So I want to go over both pros and cons, and then at the end of the video, I'll tell you how I really feel. I'll put Bob Quinn into the equation and all of that. So if you will, hang around with me, and let's go check out Tua Tagovailoa.
Couple of times this season where he's gotten hurt because he's extending a play and then he gets tackled from behind. And the problem with that is you don't see it coming, and then they roll up on your lower legs, and that's how he got hurt initially this season in the Tennessee game.
As I said, in the good, he always has a plan B when the play breaks down. But when the play, sometimes the plan B can be taken a little too far, and he might have a little bit of a tendency to try to keep the play alive a little longer than it should be. But I think that can be coached. I think that's something that can be coached.
That's good news. And if it's just something...
But I wanted to look at I just wanted to look at this video. I wanted everybody to see exactly what happened, how it happened.
Just about,
you know, it really, if you look at the film and you take a real close look at it, it was a freak accident. He came down on his knee, The pressure on his back popped the hip out.
Even on the road, has gone silent.
And, thank goodness that, all the blood flow to the hip, and that was really the concern. The concern was whether or not the blood flow would return to the hip and allow him to continue his football career. The minute you lose blood flow to an area of your body, you begin to create arthritis. And once the arthritis kicks in, it's a debilitating condition. It just deteriorates further and further as time goes on. And according to the medicals, again, according to the people that have examined him, who I believe have reputations. I don't think people, give you hot takes on medical diagnoses. I don't think you get a whole lot of hot take medical diagnoses.
35-7.
So,
the natural reaction is,
again, guys,
why is he still out there?
Tua Tagovailoa,
and you love
there is an issue with him, but I think it's, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, I think it's more overblown than, let's face it, he's had 3 injuries in his college career, all lower body, but he's only missed, he's only missed 2 games because of it, because of it.
Out of the field as well as we speak.
And you've got a lead 20,
the point here is
you got a 27-point, 28-point lead in a ball game, and
the fact that they're bringing
he's out there running around trying to make, the next spectacular play. But that's where you balance being a winner and having that drive and wanting to do, really well, and not having the drive and not doing really well.
And this is the video that is now being watched coast to coast.
So as he gets started off. Injury, as I said before,
and the decision to
kind of
start
jumped on his
in the
back.
game.
He planted a knee, kind of landed right on a knee, and as that pressure on his back, 2 guys on his back pushed down on his back, the knee popped, or the hip popped out. And again, that circulation to your knee, to your arm, why do I keep saying knee? Circulation to your hip. If it doesn't return, it becomes arthritic. Once it becomes arthritic, the bone begins to die, and then people need a hip replacement. A lot of people bring up Bo Jackson. That happened a long time ago as far as medical advancements and whatnot. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. Same commentary I gave you in the video. If you are a doctor, you don't give hot takes on medical issues. Dr. Andrews has a guy that works in his office that's, working on, and you all know who Dr. Andrews is. He's I believe he's knees and ankles, but world renowned. Everybody always talks about the athlete flew to Dr. Andrews' place and was checked over by Dr. Andrews. One of his practitioners in his office, one of the people that take care of very finely tuned athletes, has said that the prognosis to his blood flow and whatnot, to his injury, are beyond reality. He's actually on pace, way ahead of schedule, looking great, going to be 100%. So that was the negative part about it. And like I said, when you look at his positives, what are his positives? I wrote some of his positives down. Okay, so, he's a winner, right? Guy does nothing but win. Strong arm. Great pocket presence. Always has a plan B, right? Play breaks down. He can extend the play, which is the difference between Herbert and Tua. That really is the difference between Herbert and Tua. Herbert, as far as athletic ability goes, size, dimensions, arm strength, he almost throws robotic darts. It's almost like he's throwing... When I look at Justin Herbert's throwing motion and what do I see? It's almost like he's throwing a Nerf football. You know how you can throw a Nerf football like a dart? There's no weight to it. It comes out of your hand and it just pops out of your hand. Justin Herbert has that ability. Tua doesn't quite have the arm strength that he has, but don't get me wrong, Tua has a great arm strength. But the thing that I want to say that I find intriguing about Tua is I'm always intrigued to see how when a guy's had nothing but success and he runs into an obstacle, he runs into a situation where it looks bleak, and you're at that those are the moments in life when you have to say to yourself, does this person have the ability to rise above? When all they've known is success, when all you've known is success, when all you've eaten are filet mignon and lobster tails all your life, how good are you going to be at handling a bologna sandwich? That's the real question. Tua's been a winner wherever he's gone. High school he had a phenomenal career. Of course, we all saw what he did in the national championship game as a freshman, as a true freshman. But the guy, what the guy's done is quite amazing, and I'd like to share a video with you on what exactly he's done.
Get where he is now.
Let's check it out.
Lonely on his part, to be quite honestly. He went through a really, really lonely time where it was long days, monotonous work, surrounded by a team of experts that knew how to transition him from kind of the rehab into the strength and development transition, but hard stuff. Eating well, really using food as a means of healing, 2.5 hour sessions a day of really boring, lonely stuff. Long classroom hours with myself and Ken Wisenhunt. A ton of other rest and recovery type aids, really working on mobility, stability, strength, flexibility before he could ever start any type of dynamic workouts. I give the kid a ton of credit. I don't know many young people that would have had the stick-to-itness to really maintain the program that he was on. And to his credit, he went for 6-7 weeks of not very glorified work to get to the point where he could just get back to basic quarterback movement skills.
So now the narrative is, there's no doubt that he can play in the NFL, but for how long? And everybody talks about the multiple surgeries. How do you see his style and his body holding up in the NFL?
It's hard to talk about things you're not an expert in, and I'm not an expert in this stuff. I know that, everything we did with him here in Nashville, we got clearance from the doctors and multiple clearances, like overturning every rock. Are you sure he can do that? Yes, you can do that. He's been completely cleared. He's had multiple rechecks by professionals saying that the hip is great, the ankle's great, that everything checks out. I can only go off what I know, and that's being around them, doing the dynamic stuff for the last month. I was blown away. The first clip you showed today was their very first day at work. I think it was March 9th that he was cleared to work. And I had a 35-minute script written for him for some basic rudimentary type movement stuff. And we ended up going an hour and 15 minutes because he was so much further advanced than I thought he could be. His stamina has been incredible. His power, his twitch, every single day there was improvements, and he wouldn't fatigue quickly, which tells me that the work that Luke Richardson, that Johnny, his trainer, that the people at Alabama, the whole team that's been put together to help him kind of get over this have done a fantastic job. And he moves as well, if not better, than he did before he got hurt. He is stronger. He's leaner. He's quicker. He's all the things you're looking for. Now, I can't predict how long he's going to play. I know a lot of things we talked about over the last few months were playing the NFL game, not trying to be Superman all the time, not trying to win every single down, getting the ball out of his hand quicker, utilizing his giftedness, which is incredibly quick eyes, seeing the whole field, an incredibly quick delivery, the most accurate passer I've ever been around, utilizing that skill set to minimize the hits on his body. But at the end of the day, I don't know if anybody can predict how long you're going to play. I know the guy's built differently. He's very, very special. He's a different type of beast. And because of that, I think he's going to have a very long, very productive NFL career.
You spent a lot of time with him. What's the biggest takeaway from all your time that you've worked with him?
How important he makes people feel. He's got an incredible ability to connect with people. I think that's why he's such a great leader. I think that's why his coaches at Alabama rave about him. He still stays very connected with his teammates. Jerry Jeudy flies all the way out. Jerry Jeudy doesn't need to do anything for a pro day. Everybody knows he's going to go high in the draft. Flies all the way out to Nashville in a very weird time in all of our lives to help train with his buddy and get ready for pro day. He still constantly stays connected with his other teammates, with his coaches. Everybody he came across in Nashville, he connected with very, very well. He makes you feel important. He makes you feel better than you really are. And I don't know if there's a better trait you can have as a quarterback, because ultimately your job is to make everybody around you better. He obviously has an incredible skill set. He does little nuanced things that I'll let Dan and the Hasselbacks and the other quarterback experts talk about that are obvious to see on film. But I think the ultimate thing, the thing that's really going to differentiate him from everybody else, is when you're in the room with him, the room is better.
Nick Saban has talked about that, and we've heard that they have a unique relationship just based on, the old school way that Tua was raised. How much do they still keep in contact?
They stay constantly connected. Tua goes out of his way. Coach Saban goes out of his way to stay connected. They're constantly checking in with one another. And I think it speaks volumes to both of them. One thing I want to make really clear is that I don't know if this has been talked about enough. You look at Tua's background, his pedigree, so to speak. He's been coached as well as anybody's ever been coached, going back to high school. His dad's a phenomenal coach. He gets Lane Kiffin. He gets Dable. He gets Loxley. He gets Sarkisian, all under the umbrella of Nick Saban, one of the greatest coaches of all time. He's been coached really well, and all those coaches have an incredible amount of respect for him. Not just how he plays the position, but the way he leads, the way he works. Every aspect to him. So don't take my word for him. I've just spent 3 months with him. The people that are truly, truly invested in this kid's life, that have helped develop him, speak the world of him and constantly stay connected with him. And I think that says a lot about those coaches, but it says a lot about Tua as well.
Before we let you go, do you have a gut feeling on what's going to happen on draft night, where he's going to go?
I really don't. I've tried to stay out of that part of it, obviously. I just care about Tua. I love this kid like my own son. And I've seen him go through some...
Damn! He loves him like a son. He loves him like a son. He should be his agent. He should be training the guy. Listen, man, there's a lot to take in on that video. Again, when certain people are selling people, there can be a little bit of a hot take involved. But I'm sold. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sold. I am sold on the fact that he looks like he's moving around pretty good. I think he's ready to go. And what better situation? Listen, there's something about Tua that I need to tell you. I don't think that Matthew Stafford and Tua have a whole lot to do with one another. I don't think that one has that much to do with the other. Right? We are tied up into Matthew Stafford's contract for the next 2 years. That's a given. The numbers to get out because of restructuring, incredible. But let's go back to that whole idea of value. The most expensive player on the field is the quarterback. Teams that are successful at the moment, like your San Francisco 49ers and your Kansas City Chiefs, have guys that are under controllable, manageable contracts. Tua Tagovailoa would put us in that position as far as the value situation is concerned. Now let's get into his game, right? So, everybody's talked about what a great guy he is and the fact that he's healthy. But let's get into this guy's a breakdown of his actual football acumen and what does he do on the field. This guy, in my opinion, is one of the best guys on YouTube. You'll find him on YouTube that breaks down film. You'll learn a lot from spending time on his channel. So without further ado, let's check.
But I think the Bengals should reconsider. Tua Tagovailoa is a superb quarterback prospect. He became an instant legend at the beginning of 2018 when, as a freshman, he was inserted into the national championship game in the second half and carried Alabama to a national title. His poise and maturity at a young age cannot be overstated. His spectacular 3-year stat line of 89 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and an almost 70% completion rate is honestly just the beginning. His tactical skills and incredible depth of talent are what solidify him as an elite prospect. He is the most technically advanced college quarterback of the past several years. He consistently finds his third and fourth read in the progression. He uses his eyes as a weapon to manipulate defenders and open throwing lanes. He understands before and after the snap the strengths and weaknesses of the play call, how defenses are trying to defend that play call, and his deadly accuracy is a result of sound footwork and efficient mechanics. Alabama tailored their offensive system to Tua's strengths, a seamless blend of air raid and West Coast principles which complement his tool set and created a roadmap for whichever team drafts him. The West Coast offense relies on short, quick-hitting passes that require precise timing, pacing, and accuracy. If the ball is thrown on time and placed correctly, a 6-yard slant can turn into a 50-yard touchdown. Understanding the holes in defensive coverages is critical for these short passes to turn into long gains. On 3rd and 10 against Texas A&M, Alabama starts in a 2-by-2 set. A&M has a middle-of-the-field safety with defenders lined up over each receiver and 6 potential blitzers on the line of scrimmage. As wide receiver Jerry Jeudy motions across the formation, Tua is collecting data points on how each defender shifts and reacts. He is watching the middle-of-the-field safety and gives a fake snap to bait the defense into tipping their hand. He knows strong side he has a long developing out route, and to the weak side, a slant that he assumes will be taken away by the weak safety, now that Judy's motioned away. The fake snap does tip the defense's hand, just not the side he's expecting. Often in this coverage, when the safety's assignment motions away, he becomes a blitzing defender. When he bites on the fake snap, Tua knows he's coming, the hole is empty, and the slant will be open. A&M gets immediate pressure at the snap, but with nobody playing the middle hole, Tua takes 2 steps and hits the slant in stride. With just 1 second of hesitation, the play is dead and Bama has to punt. From the end zone angle, we can see exactly what he's looking at and the procedure he works through to complete this pass. As Jeudy motions across, Tua analyzes the defense. He knows with the slant taken away from the other side, he'll have to find a quick throw against the 6-man pressure the defense is showing. With 6 on the line, Alabama does have 6 blockers, 5 linemen and a running back, Najee Harris. But A&M has 2 linebackers mugging the A-gap, which means they're lined up to either side of the center. This presents a problem for Tua that he's well aware of. The line needs to account for each blitzing defender, so they call a half slide protection, where half their line will slide strong and the other half will man block the 2 remaining linemen. This leaves the other mugged linebacker for Harris, whose eyes are trained on his target. Alabama has the pressure all blocked up, but as the safety shows blitz, this poses a threat for a line sliding away from the middle. Tua gives a sign to Harris that he misses. As the play starts, the safety overloads the middle of the protection. Harris is supposed to block the most inside threat, but he doesn't. Tua knows to beat a blitz, you have to target the area where the blitz is coming from. Tua has extremely active eyes during the play. He checks to confirm that the middle of the field safety maintains his distance from the slant, then sees the blitzing safety unblocked and comes backside to throw a perfect ball to the wide receiver, who takes it to the house. Their West Coast-style system goes hand-in-hand with air raid principles, which also rely on quick passes while incorporating downfield concepts and routes designed to attack open space. One of the classic air raid staples is called mesh, which calls for 2 receivers to run overlapping 6-yard drag routes just close enough to touch, with a 10-yard sit route that nestles in behind them. Mesh works against man, and it works against zone. In man coverage, the mesh routes can pick off one of the trailing defenders, and in zone, the mesh routes stretch the hook linebackers while the sit route slips in behind them. Chip Kelly popularized the wheel route from the running back in hopes to get a one-on-one matchup with a slower linebacker or peeling defensive end. With Ole Miss playing a cover 3 zone, Alabama wisely motions Jerry Jeudy across the formation both to confirm zone coverage and to widen out the hook linebackers during the play. Tua's first read is the wheel route, which isn't open, so he comes back to the middle and uses his eyes to manipulate the defenders and find the open receiver on a tight window throw. Eye manipulation is Tua's greatest strength, and the tool that will translate day 1 to the NFL. He's hoping the linebacker gets caught in traffic so he can throw the wheel route. When he sees it's covered, he eyes the sit route cutting across the formation, but he's about 5 yards until he comes open. Tua knows the mesh routes will occupy the 2 hook linebackers. If the defender passes off the tight end like he should, the window will be closed, so Tua manipulates that defender by eyeing that tight end, which opens the lane. Then, he throws a dart for the first down. Scouts want a quarterback who throws with anticipation before a receiver is open. But Tua uses his arm and his eyes as anticipation weapons. His eyes manipulate defenders
So, West Coast offense, right? He understands the concepts of West Coast offense and is able to play in those concepts. Let's take a look at what he's really, really good at. And this is RPO. The NFL offense, the NFL offense is constantly evolving, right? We've seen over the years that the NFL offense has evolved from year to year. And there are different concepts that are coming over from the college game and being introduced into the pro game. And the RPO is one of those concepts. And he's a maestro of the RPO. Let's check it out.
timing, accuracy, and precision. While I don't believe his game is best suited for a deep passing attack like the Tampa Bay Bucks, I think he'd be just fine. But if a team really wants to maximize his potential, they will borrow from what Alabama did best, RPOs, which perfectly fit Tua's style. RPO, which we know stands for run-pass option, is a running play first and is blocked as such. But the quarterback reads one particular defender and has the option to pull the ball and throw. Bama has two tight ends and a running back on the field, which signals to Ole Miss it'll probably be a run. They match that heavy personnel with a 3-4 defense to clog the holes and stuff the run. The defense wants one more defender in the box than the offense has blockers, so they can have a free hitter on the running back. That defender becomes the conflict defender. If he charges in to plug the run, Tua throws the slant. If he does throw that slant, it has to come out extremely quick, since the offensive line is blocking for a run and not sitting back in protection to take on pass rushers. This is Alabama's split zone run, which they call Austin. Split zone is a normal inside zone run where each lineman takes a play side step to block a defender. And split refers to the tight end sliding across the formation to kick out the edge. Defenses have to properly fit the run and have a defender in each gap. There are 6 gaps, 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 C's. Either side of the center are the A's, the guards B's, etc. Since the nose tackle has the backside A gap and the defensive end has the front side B gap, the other A gap needs to be filled. The conflict defender has to fill that A gap, and that's exactly who Tua is reading. When he sees the conflict backer move in to fill the gap, he pulls the ball and slings the slant in stride, accurately and on time. Of course, it's unfair to compare any offense to the old Joe Montana and Jerry Rice 49ers teams, but these perfectly thrown, quick-hitting routes repeatedly go for long touchdowns thanks to proper ball placement and Alabama's elite talent at the receiver position. Tua is a fascinating prospect to study.
So there you have it, folks. Tua Tagovailoa, in a nutshell. Again, I'm all for it. I think he'd be a good pick for the Detroit Lions if they stay at 3. Then there's that 4th option that I had mentioned early on in the video, that there were 4 options. And then, of course, there's the option of trading back. So I think there's a lot of value at 3. Being able to take a guy like Tua at 3 puts us in a very good position as a Detroit Lions fan. I think that Tua Tagovailoa would be a great pick for the Detroit Lions. You keep Matthew Stafford here for another year. If he shows outstanding success, you bite the bullet and keep him for the second year. And then after that, you move on. It's happened in again, Kansas City. You know, there was a quarterback, an established quarterback. Another one was drafted, and then there was a transition made. Same way with the greats like Joe Montana. Same way with Brett Favre. Being in the North, we know all about that. So, guys, thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.